What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. On the video today for Rustic Creations, we're going to create another themed table. Just like the table we did before with the turkey feathers. This time it's going to be martial arts themed, and it's actually technically two tables. I'm going to call them sister tables because they're both similarly themed, even though there's different attributes to each one. In the effort to save some time, I've done some steps already. I've already poured 1 gallon of resin into the mold. I'm going to be placing all of the items on top of this in an arrangement, and then doing another 2 gallons of resin on top of that for a total of 3 gallons. That's what makes these tables pretty heavy. Okay, we're going to attempt to make this video shorter than the rest of them because these can get pretty lengthy. So we got my 24-inch round silicone epoxy mold here for making tables. I've already poured 1 gallon in there. So my idea behind these round tables is to kind of be a little symmetrical. I did mark the center of where the table was. That is something I wish I would have did on the first one. But I'm going to arrange these, and I'll come back to the video. I don't have my tripod on me right now, but I'll come back to the video and show you kind of what I'm looking at and a couple of the other ideas. Alright, so for the first table I was thinking something like that. Like I said, I did mark the center of the table. It'll be easier for placing these items, and also making sure that my table mount goes center, and also kind of focusing the design in the center of the piece. With the turkey table creation, after I had done it, I had wished I had marked the center because I didn't know where center was, and once I'm trying to round it and make it perfectly round, that became more difficult because I didn't know where the center was. Also, once you get a mounting system, whichever base you plan on mounting to this item, it makes it a whole lot easier if you know where the exact center is. So with this one, like I said, these are going to be sister tables, but I've got a few ideas. Initially I planned on like crossing these sides, and not that I'm against it. It just makes the table thicker, so I'm trying to make it as thin as possible. So it's gonna look like that. I'm gonna move these around a little bit. It's gonna look similar to that. And then we've got some throwing knives here. And each of these tables is kind of gonna have their own flair, and I'll show you how why I say that in a little bit. Then we got some shurikens, some Japanese throwing stars, for the other fill-in pieces, but I think I'm gonna do that for this table, and then the next table is gonna be slightly different, and I'll show you why. So the focus of the next table will actually be these really cool, nicely designed wood nunchucks. I'm gonna have those in the table. And I've got a whole bunch more of these throwing stars because I have been putting them in coasters too. But we've got a butterfly knife here. I've got more of these throwing knives, but I've also got these throwing knives where they're like a rainbow colored. And I've got some classic brass knuckles. So these tables are going to have like a martial arts defense style theme to them, and they should look pretty neat. So I'm gonna even all this out, measure everything, make sure it's nice and evenly proportioned throughout the table, and then I'm gonna get this second layer poured. This second layer is gonna be 2 gallons of resin on top. And now we mix. Slow speed. You're gonna do this very thoroughly and probably for about 5 minutes. Back and forth, make some patterns. Try not to lift your paddle out of the resin, because then you'll just reintroduce more air. But you're going to do this continuously for 5 minutes. Alright, so it's poured. This is all metal. Everything in here has some sort of metal in it, so I really wasn't in too much worry that these items are going to move, because sometimes if you have something really light and you start to pour resin in there, the items will shift. So I did a pretty clean pour without anything moving. But what I did is I took a little magic sticky here, and then I went through and I made sure that there was like no micro hairs in there. It's very difficult to keep every bit of contaminant out of it, but I did my best. And then I went in there and poked all these things and kind of just shifted them around a little bit, kind of rocked them just to make sure there was no trapped air underneath them. There's not too many flat edges, because even these knives in there, they're not laying flat, they're kind of like canted a little bit, so air shouldn't get trapped under these. But all in all, it came out pretty good, as you can see there. Let's see if I can focus on some. So just some little tiny bubbles that have to pop themselves. I'm going to do what they call break the tension of the surface. All you're doing is kind of lightly going over this with the torch and break the surface tension. You're not heating up the resin, so you don't want to keep this in one spot. You're just kind of lightly passing over it. There's a few things you could do. You could use a heat gun, you could use a torch like this, or you could use like denatured alcohol. This is the hardest version to use, because if you're using like a small project and you have like say a coaster, you cannot keep this thing still. It will heat up your project and pretty much ruin it, so you got to be careful. All I'm doing is breaking up surface tension, like I said, and you'll see here right there, there's a couple bubbles rising, and it's actually gonna pop itself here in a minute. Gonna let that come up. Yeah, looks pretty good, guys. I can't wait to see it out of the mold. After this comes the fun part, because as soon as this is done, in 24 hours time, I'll break it out of the mold, then I'll let it sit out in the air for another day, and then I'll start to clean it up and sand it and create smooth edges, because these molds are never like, you can see here, they're never like perfectly round, so I can do all that in post. I can do all that after the fact, clean this all up. Alright guys, so it's about a half hour after I poured the 2 gallons of the top, and it's starting to solidify already. You will feel some heat coming up here. If I was pouring anything thicker than this, now this is a pretty thick table. If I was pouring anything thicker than this, I wouldn't pour more than this, if that makes any sense. I would do this in multiple pours. You don't want your project getting too hot. If it gets too hot, it cures too fast, and if it cures too fast, you have to it runs the risk of cracking, and if it's wood, it's definitely going to crack. But you run the risk of it cracking. So you're trying to avoid that, keep the temperature down. You don't want it to cure too fast, you want it to slow cure. That also helps release its own bubbles too. The fact that it's releasing its own bubbles and it's almost bubble free. I'm going to hit a couple more, but it looks like it's going good. It's beautiful. It's a thick, heavy table. Wait till you see the base. I'm really proud of the base. I like the base that I chose for this. And like I said, this will be a sister table. This will be one of 2, maybe 3 of the same theme type 24-inch round table. I'm probably going to do the same base on all of them just because I like the base. The base is really heavy duty and metal, and it's cool. It does this cool feature. I'll show you at the end. Alright guys, so I just took the table out of the mold, the tabletop, and let me tell you, I'm really happy with the results. Came out super crystal clear. There's really not a lot for me to touch up per se. The edges came in a lot better than last time. I was sure that I made sure that I marked the center of the project. That's another thing I didn't do last time. So it was almost like hard to put on the turntable and make sure it was in the center. But this time I marked the center with like a little dot, but look how it came out. Like I said guys, this is 3 gallons of resin. So it's not light. It's the top of a table. Super hard, super clear. And it's got a martial arts theme. So I think anybody that buys this, knowing what they're getting because they're active martial artists, would love this table. I can't wait for you to see it on the base. It looks really cool. But it's probably going to take me 1 to 2 hours to clean up this edge. It's pretty straight. It's a lot straighter than the other tables I did. There's one bubble that appeared after I left the project. It's about, let's see if I can get it on camera. It's very hard to see. It's right there. So what I'm going to do is sand this a little bit, clean this up. I'm going to pour a little bit more epoxy in there and then let that dry. That should harden, and we should be pretty good with that. And then I'm going to lightly sand this and then get it to about 2000 grit with wet sanding. Then I'm going to polish it, and this will come right out, this shine. Awesome. Tables like this, guys, they are available for sale. Go on our Facebook page. I'll put the link down below. Email me at rusticcreationsnepa@outlook.com. If you would like something like this, or maybe you have a different idea, you can put pretty much almost anything inside of resin. So I'm going to be charging, as they get more and more popular, I'll be able to charge more, just like anybody. But this table is going to be $600 with a caveat. Alloy Man has supported me, not only Josh as a person, but the 570. So moving on with this new YouTube channel, Rusty Creations, I'm going to offer this table at $600, but you get a free cordless mini 20-volt chainsaw for your purchase. So you're actually getting a $100 chainsaw for nothing. So that should be a pretty good incentive for somebody to buy this. But next Friday, not this coming, but the next one, I have a show. My first gun show where I'm going to like advertise my product and have it out on display and for sale. It's going to be at the Split Rock Resort. It's August 5th and 6th, so a Saturday and a Sunday in Lake Harmony, PA. I wish all of you the best and come out and see me. You could purchase my items. I'd love to shake hands with you, talk to you. I want to see everybody and just get to know my viewers a little bit. But in the meantime, you get this cleaned up. In an effort to make this video shorter than the last one, I'm not going to show you any of that. I'm just going to do it. You'll see it mounted on the base. Alright guys, the table is done. It's just another one of those things I'm really proud of. It came out really, really nice, and I'm going to be sad to see it go. This table will be going with me to the gun show at Split Rock Resort in Lake Harmony, Pennsylvania. That'll be August 5th and 6th. If you are available, come out and see me. I'd love to meet all you viewers, and for right now, let's reveal the table. There we go. I got it beautifully sanded and smooth. One thing I'm going to pay more attention to next time, because I'm learning every time I make a table, because I measured all this, everything's evenly distributed. Here, I'll show you. See, the knives come to exact points, these are exact points, and then the fill-in stars are on the outside. I'm going to take in consideration the mount, because as you can see, this is also a perfect, it's a perfect plus sign. So with all this being straight, I didn't want these screws going into the knife here, so I had to just turn it a little bit. Doesn't take anything away from the table. The table's beautiful. We'll come down the side here. Let's see if I can focus it there. Okay, there you go. See all this? This came out nice. These edges I gave it. The whole entire thing was polished on the side there. I really couldn't have asked for anything better. So that's not it. I love the base. I'm really excited about the base. I'm actually going to buy some more of these bases. I like how heavy duty they are. One thing about the base that you might not know, this base is designed for tables like, say, at a restaurant or an eatery, because there's a little lever on the back here. And when you pull that, you can bring the tabletop up so you can clean underneath it. That's why initially it was designed. But for this, it makes a great display. This table is going to be, and I'll show you videos, I'll be recording from there. This table is going to be on display at the gun show, and this is how it'll look on the table. This is going to be really cool. It's a perfect way to display this table. People are probably going to be like, what the hell is that? And I'll have to show them it's a table, but super excited. There really couldn't have been a better way to display this table for the potential buyer. If anybody's interested in a table similar to this with weapons in it and all that, email me at rusticcreationsnepa@outlook.com. The price on this table will be dependent on what goes in it. So this table, as it sits right here, is $600. So, all right, guys, this is Josh from Rustic Creations. All of you that are new to the channel, please subscribe. We got to get those subscribers up so we can get this channel monetized. But we'll see you next time.